Friends, today we are standing at a very fascinating yet very challenging crossroads in Indian geopolitics and economics. A moment that has the potential to redefine India's place in the world. Recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has made a bold and powerful statement urging Indians to get rid of foreign products to reduce their dependence on imports, especially from those countries with which relations are strained, and instead to embrace self-reliance, to embrace Swadeshi. On the surface, this looks like a simple call to buy Indian goods, but in reality, it is far bigger. It is a dramatic signal to the world, especially to the United States, that India is ready to chart its own independent course, even if that means facing short-term pain. This call comes in the backdrop of rising trade tensions with the United States, which has recently imposed steep tariffs on several categories of Indian goods. Washington has targeted Indian steel, aluminum, and even technology products, claiming unfair practices and subsidies. But in New Delhi, the view is very different. India believes it is being punished for asserting itself on the global stage, for standing shoulder to shoulder with Russia despite Western sanctions, for maintaining strategic autonomy instead of blindly following Washington's dictates. And it is in this environment that Modi's call to ditch foreign goods takes on a nationalist, geopolitical meaning, not just an economic one. Now, why is this so important? Because the Indian consumer market is massive. We are talking about a population of more than 1.4 billion people, a rapidly rising middle class with disposable incomes, a nation that has become the fastest-growing large economy in the world. Every multinational, from American tech giants to European luxury companies to Chinese smartphone makers, is desperate to tap into this gigantic consumer base. And suddenly, the Prime Minister of India says, "Stop buying foreign, support domestic." This is like sending shockwaves through boardrooms in New York, Silicon Valley, Berlin, Paris, and Beijing. The implications are huge. Imagine if even 20 or 30% of Indian consumers genuinely shift their behavior away from foreign brands. The impact on multinational revenues would be immense. Apple, Amazon, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, McDonald's, Zara, Nike, Samsung. Every one of these companies depends on India as a growth engine. Losing market share here is not an option they can easily afford. And that is precisely why this statement has gone viral. It is being discussed in media across the world. Because people are asking, is India really going to launch an economic war of sorts by weaponizing its consumer base? At the same time, Modi's words are not just directed at foreign companies. They are also a challenge to India's own industrialists, entrepreneurs, and small businesses. It is like he is telling them, this is your moment. Step up. Produce world-class goods. Compete on quality and innovation. If Indian consumers are going to reject foreign, you must give them an Indian alternative that is just as good, if not better. In other words, it is a call to arms for India's private sector. Think about it. In the last decade, India has built unicorns, startups, global IT giants, but it still imports enormous amounts of electronics, defense equipment, luxury goods, and technology. Modi wants to change that equation. He wants India to be not just a service powerhouse, but a manufacturing powerhouse. The slogan "Make in India" is not new, but linking it with a nationalist boycott of foreign products gives it a new urgency, a new political flavor that could resonate with ordinary people in small towns, villages, and cities alike. This is not just economics. It is psychology. It is politics. It is geopolitics wrapped into one. Now, let's connect the dots with U.S. relations. The timing is crucial. India and the United States are supposed to be strategic partners. They work together in quo. They conduct joint military exercises. They both talk about countering China in the Indo-Pacific. But in economics, friction is growing. The United States accuses India of being protectionist, of using tariffs to shield its markets. India accuses the U.S. of double standards, of preaching free trade but practicing protectionism whenever American interests are threatened. The latest American tariffs on Indian imports have angered New Delhi, And Modi's call for ditching foreign products is widely seen as a response to that. It is a signal to Washington. Don't think you can bully India economically, because we can mobilize our people to reduce your influence here. That is a powerful bargaining chip in any trade negotiation. But geopolitically, the message is already delivered. America, Europe, and China are watching closely. They know that if India actually goes down this path seriously, the balance of global trade will shift. India could become less dependent on Western products, and in turn, Western companies will become more dependent on accessing India's massive market. That creates leverage. That gives India negotiating power in trade talks. Remember, economic nationalism is not new. Mahatma Gandhi himself championed Swadeshi during the freedom struggle, urging Indians to boycott British goods, especially textiles, and spin their own kadi. That economic resistance weakened Britain's grip and boosted Indian self-confidence. Modi is invoking that same sentiment, connecting today's consumer choices with a larger sense of national pride. It is emotional, it is strategic, and it is designed to resonate deeply with ordinary citizens. Now let's also consider how this plays with domestic politics. India is heading into a period of political consolidation, and Modi's government thrives on strong nationalist messaging. By telling people to reject foreign products, the government is appealing directly to the masses, telling them, "You have power. You can hit back at those who disrespect India." This narrative strengthens the government's position domestically because it turns an economic dispute into a patriotic duty. If you drink a foreign soft drink, you are indirectly hurting India. If you buy an imported smartphone, you are undermining Indian jobs. But if you buy local, you are standing with the nation. This type of messaging can be incredibly powerful in shaping consumer psychology, and it also creates a sense of unity in the face of external pressure. Globally, this statement also plays into the shifting world order. India is positioning itself as a leader of the global South, a voice for developing nations that are tired of Western dominance. By rejecting foreign goods, India is telling the world that it will not be a passive participant in globalization, but an active shaper of it. It is telling the West, "We will engage with you, but on our own terms." This is especially significant at a time when U.S.-China trade tensions are escalating, Europe is grappling with economic challenges, and Russia is under sanctions. India is emerging as the swing player, the country that everyone wants on their side. And Modi's call is a reminder that India will not simply fall in line with Western interests. It will pursue its own path rooted in self-reliance and national pride. Let's also think about the cultural angle. For decades, Indians were taught that foreign goods are superior. Owning an imported car, wearing foreign brands, using foreign gadgets was seen as a status symbol. But now the narrative is changing. Indian brands like Tata, Reliance, Infosys, and Flipkart are global names. Indian startups are creating apps and technologies used worldwide. Bollywood and Indian music are spreading globally. Yoga and Ayurveda are embraced across continents. In this context, Modi's call is also about cultural confidence. It is about saying, we don't need to worship foreign goods anymore. We can produce world-class quality ourselves. That psychological shift is as important as the economic one. When people believe in their own ability to create excellence, the entire nation rises. At the end of the day, Modi's statement has captured headlines because it touches a nerve. It combines nationalism, economics, geopolitics, and psychology into one powerful message. It is designed to resonate with the ordinary Indian who feels that the West sometimes looks down on India, imposes rules unfairly, or takes advantage of its markets. It is designed to send a message to Washington that India will not be pushed around. And it is designed to motivate Indian businesses to rise to the occasion and fill the gaps. Whether or not India can fully implement this vision is another story. But as a narrative, as a rallying cry, it is already a success. People are debating, people are arguing, people are asking, is this the beginning of a new economic independence movement? Friends, the world is watching. The United States is watching. Europe is watching. China is watching. Every country that has a stake in India's massive market is carefully analyzing Modi's words, because they know that in the New World Order, India is not just a participant, it is a driver. And if India truly begins to reject foreign products, the global economy will feel the impact. This is not an empty slogan. This is the potential beginning of a tectonic shift in how global trade flows. The Indian consumer, once seen as passive, is now being mobilized as a weapon of economic diplomacy. That is a game changer. That is why this story has gone viral. And that is why the next few months and years will be crucial to see if this rhetoric turns into reality. So, as we reflect on this bold call from Prime Minister Modi, we must ask ourselves, are we witnessing the birth of a new Swadeshi movement for the 21st century? A movement that could redefine India's economic destiny and challenge global giants? Or is this simply a tactical response to current tensions with the United States, a bargaining chip in a larger negotiation? Time will tell, but one thing is clear. India is no longer content to play by other people's rules. India is writing its own playbook. And in that playbook, the power of the Indian consumer is not just about shopping. It is about sovereignty, strategy, and self-respect. The world better take note.